This conference will now be recorded.
Perfect.
We'd like to welcome everyone to the July 7th, 2025 regular council meeting. I'll call it to order at 6:30 p.m. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight?
I spoke with Councillor Weller earlier today, and we wanted to add a brief discussion about Citizen of the Month under new business. Or willing.
Okay. Any other additions or changes other than the one discussion under new business? Anyone like to make a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with the addition of new business A, Citizen of the Month discussion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilor Wagner. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carried. Okay, I do not have a mayor's report tonight. Are there any presentations? Nope. Councilor committee meeting reports tonight.
No.
Dale, go ahead.
Yeah, the Public Works Committee met. Probably spent most of the meeting discussing their quarterly letter that they're going to put out. We also discussed, I know there's two new projects, the city, the one is a water intake, and I can't remember the second one off the top.
Public Works Standards.
Oh, Public Works Standards, yeah. Just kind of filling out what their involvement would be with those two projects. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you, Dale. Any other meetings? Okay, cassette agenda for accept, oh, I'm sorry. Any topics from the floor tonight?
I have one.
Okay.
Fabian.
Okay. You can come forward, Fabian, and
Yes.
and just state your name. You don't have to give your address.
My name is Fabienne Tomé.
So would you like to present this?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Not everyone has a copy.
It's a petition that I that signed the residents of Louisiana Avenue, G Street, H Street, High Street, Ledger Avenue, to ask City Hall to do something about the state of Louisiana Avenue. And so I wanted to do a little presentation for you. And I timed myself, it should be about 2 minutes and 57 seconds. All right. I live on what used to be a dead end on North Louisiana Avenue. In 2024, Vernonia City Hall upgraded the sewage system between the southern and northern part of Louisiana Avenue and took that opportunity to open the street all the way through. Although it has allowed our residents to access shorter routes into town, it has also dramatically changed the dynamics of our neighborhood. Now there's an influx of heavy traffic rolling past our homes every day, creating concerns for pedestrian safety and quality of life. The section of Louisiana Avenue in question is particularly alarming because it is a gravel road and only one lane wide in some portions. This narrow passage poses a significant safety hazard, especially for pedestrians, children, pets, and cyclists, which are numerous in our neighborhood. The situation becomes even more concerning when cars pass by, often at high speeds, making it a daily risk for residents. Further compounding the issue is the dust problem. With the type of gravel used, every vehicle that speeds by kicks up clouds of fine dust and dirt. This is not just a minor inconvenience. All of our cars and houses are constantly dirty during the drier months, and no one can enjoy their front porch or yards. But most importantly, it is affecting the health and well-being of all residents living nearby, contributing to poor health, air quality, and potentially aggravating respiratory conditions. As Louisiana Avenue and its by-streets are getting more and more developed, traffic will only increase in the near future between construction trucks and future residents. In addition, there are numerous potholes that are getting only worse with heavier traffic. Despite the public works efforts to fill these potholes, the solution is never permanent. We, the residents of Louisiana Avenue, G Street, H Street, I Street, and Mellinger Avenue, feel that it's in everybody's best interest to find solutions to mitigate those issues in order to improve everybody's safety and quality of life. A quick and temporary solution to the dust issue would be to pour some kind of environmentally friendly substance on the gravel, which would bring relief this summer. Among the many possible solutions to address all of these issues, a chip seal would be the fastest and most cost-effective, apparently. Chip sealing would not only stabilize the road, making it safer for both vehicular and pedestrian traffic, but it would also mitigate the dust problem, improving living conditions for every resident. Moreover, once the street is chip sealed, it would be easy to install speed bumps in strategic locations to discourage drivers from speeding. A city is made of buildings and infrastructures, but mostly it's made of people. We are lucky to live in a small community where we pride ourselves on taking care of each other. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and City Hall members, your residents are counting on you to address these issues as soon as possible and are thanking you in advance for your consideration and help in this matter.
Okay. Thank you. So, any timeline on an update on Louisiana?
We could put it on a future meeting.
Sure.
I have discussed with them some options of environmentally friendly. There's a de-sugared beet juice that we could put down that would handle dust. The normal ones that would handle dust, such as salt, which absorbs the moisture in the air, are not good for vehicles. So we're looking into the options. But chip sealing and potentially getting that's probably the best bet to work that in through the streets fund.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Consent agenda for acceptance, Public Works Committee minutes for May 2025. Any questions?
Go ahead, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna make a motion.
Okay,
I move to approve the consent agenda for acceptance.
so moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Counselor Weller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Motion carried. Okay, consent agenda for approval, City Council meeting minutes for June 16th, 2025. Page 3 through 6.
I move to approve the consent agenda for approval.
So moved. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Webb. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 None opposed. Motion carried. Okay, moving.
Mayor,
Yeah,
We have an audience member who is unaware of the requirement to sign the top.
okay,
Me, give him his moment.
sure.
Feel free to take the podium. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Oliver Jose Rodney Castillo. Originally, my family is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. My great-great-great-grandfather was the first American diplomatic consul for the United States in Nicaragua. I've never have brought anything into City Hall because I've never had the problem that I have now. When I moved out here, everybody was very nice. I mean, people were coming and helping me with the wood, with everything that I had out there that I needed help with. They came out and helped. Unfortunately, now I have problems with certain neighbor that I don't think why they think that they're playing music, because all it is foul language. And I can't even let my great grandkids don't come anymore because they can't even go outside and enjoy being outside. And, you know, I tried to explain this a while back to the woman that was the dispatcher or whatever she was, and all she did was go. And then go. Well, they have the right to. What happened to my rights? I mean, like I said, I'm willing to share anything, but, you know, this is ridiculous that you can't even go outside because of the foul language and the noise and the stuff that they do. It's just ridiculous. And that is really actually my main complaint. That needs to actually be somehow taken care of, or you can know about it or anything else. I mean, like I said, I know that they have the right to play their music and everything else. They want to play that crap. Whatever they want to, is careless. Just don't want it interfering with my family, myself. You know, that's basically most of my problem. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Raise your hand and he'll address you.
Can I get your name, number, and address?
I believe we might have two more. Just raise your hand if you were.
Thank you. My name is Ray Brown. I live on 842 First Avenue. We moved here about 9 years ago into the little community here. Wonderful little neighborhood we moved into. Everybody kind of got along really well. We organized a block party that we celebrate every year until 2 years ago. Then the drugs started. People across the street started dealing everything from meth to fentanyl. I contacted the local municipality here. I finally ended up, I was in law enforcement for years. So I contacted Columbia County. And through their DEA organization and through people I knew, I gave them a list of names, photographs, everything. They were very proactive, arrests were made, and the problem seemed to go away. But now it's back, and it's back in Technicolor. Now the local municipality will do nothing about it.
Water account.
Yes.
I can.
I don't know why we can't get patrols going around doing things, but gas has been stolen, tires have been slashed, sand's been put in our gas tanks because we complained, and nothing's getting done. That's one of the complaints. Oliver lives out at the end of the street from us. I will bear witness to the behavior of the people next to him, urinating in his yard, defecating in his yard, and throwing it into his yard. The kids stand out there and curse him for words that I wouldn't even bring forward. We try to explain it to the police here, nothing's being done. So I don't know if we have a problem with the local police, that they know these people and they don't want to get involved, but something has to change. We are getting people walking down our street in black hoodies with gas cans and hoses. You know, we know they're stealing gas. And it seems that if we had a regular patrol or enhanced patrols where these areas are bad, that a lot of this could be deterred by just a presence of law enforcement on a regular basis. We don't have that here. I tried to contact the police the 5th of July. We took our animals out of that town for the entire 4th because it destroys our animals. They cannot handle the fireworks. We come back and the drug people across the street started shooting bottle rockets at our dog when we were walking. They were throwing it and we asked them very politely, please stop. It's almost 10 o'clock. There's no reason for this. They came out in force. They brought everything out they had and just tormented our animals. Our dog is still in shock over it. Again, I tried to call the police. I went through this town 5 different times, cruising the entire city. Not a single patrolman was around anywhere. And that was for 2 full days. And I never did see a police officer over the weekend. Never did. Now the office, they keep telling me, well, you call the non-emergency number. It puts you into a dispatch and nothing is ever done. Now, I know I sound like a complainer. One last little thing. We have a lot of rats in the neighborhood. Now, we had this issue when we first moved in and we resolved it by cleaning out. When we moved in, the house we moved into was derelict. And it was a foreclosure. We took out 17 loads of diaper bags full of diapers and garbage and filth. Along with that came rats. We finally got rid of them. Well, then the gentleman across the street who lived in the house, I think it's 859 First Avenue, he passed away. And his son took over the house, which is also the house where a lot of the drug transactions are being taken. They have no garbage service. They pack all of their garbage into their garage. It is now full, and we have rats. And it's not just our house. It's the house across the street, next door to them, down on the end of the block, over at Oliver's house. Huge rats. And they're coming into our house, you know, trying, and you can hear them scratching on our porch. And so we have to trap them. And I don't like putting out poison because there's other animals around. There's a lot of feral cats, but believe it or not, these rats will kill the cats. I've seen it happen. So how do we go about solving these problems? You know, my wife and I at this point have decided we're going to move out of the town because it's out of control. It's gotten worse and worse and worse every year since we've been here. And nothing seems to be done about it. Nobody cared. We go in here, we talk to Evie in the office, and it's like talking to this door. She just looks at me like, you know, and the problem is they're friends with all these people. And I understand they don't want to get involved in, you know, be the bearer of bad news, but business is business and the law is the law. And no one is above it. And when I was a police officer, I dealt with issues like this on a regular basis. We'd go over, we'd talk to the people, and we'd work it out. But nobody wants to do that in this town. Even if they're asked to, they will not do it. So that's our issue right now. I'm sure we'll have more on the next meeting. We'll probably do it in a more formal fashion because we didn't really know how this all works. But these are some of my most important concerns right now. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, I think we're in unfinished business now. Jamboree request. I'm going to step aside and let Counselor Webb over this part of the meeting.
Okay, I think we have an addition to your original application,
Natalie Swartz.
page 7.
Yes, I am here tonight because last year we had a chainsaw artist come, just a single gentleman, and he camped with our vendors. He has kind of been talking up our event. It's something that he does, and now he's gotten into a group of artists that travel around. And something they do is go together, put on their show, have their display, and they all carve on a single item as well that they then donate to the event to raise money for the event, the city, and the community that they're a part of. So this was their idea on how they could stay. Their request is to camp on site with their equipment because of the cost of all the saws that they travel with. They don't want to have to leave that somewhere and then camp at a different area. But we know that this has never been designated for camping for an event before. So they are very willing to work with us on a possibility to make this work. They said they will leave it cleaner than they came to it. They've even mentioned if there needed to be with them specifically, like a small time lease for this event so that they held the responsibility if there was a problem afterwards. Just to show how invested they are.
You describe this location.
I can. So on the map there, it shows back on the actual concrete pad for the clinic that was there, they would place 4 campers, and then next to it would be 2. All of the small squares that are in the parking lot would have the front public entrance, and each artist would be able to have their own booth, and then they would have a main item in the middle that they would all be able to carve on as artists that would get donated for our fundraiser.
Any questions from council?
Is it being used for anything else for Jamboree this year?
No, so the steam engines are going to be Saturday only by the senior center because they're connected there and as part of the pancake feed, draw for the pancake feed.
And our original request was just for him alone again in this area. So with the added possibility of camping and extra artists, we had to amend.
Councilor Weller.
How many nights? Friday
They
nights?
would be here for Friday and Saturday night.
Nights.
Yes, I can find out if they were going to come in early on Thursday, but we let them know all our vendors set up at 6 a.m. on Friday. We would also be providing them a porta potty and hand washing station, so they would be completely enclosed. This isn't anything where they know they would have any sort of dumping of anything as well.
Any more questions? That or staff? Deliberation?
So they will be paying some type of rental on that space?
Within here, if it's approved by the city, they would have the same rates as any other camper. If it's something that we then end up covering for them to come in, that's fine, but they know that this would then come through city and have city rates as the rest of our camper town.
Great.
So you just need a consensus of council or you need a motion?
Motion to amend the application so it's an approved.
And the application? Okay.
Question. Is there any kind of a cleaning deposit that,
Not usually because it's the Jamboree committee and they know if I call and say, what the heck, they're going to send somebody to pick it up. Public Works isn't, or Parks doesn't do the cleanup for those. Typically softball cleans up. That's why we donate one of the 30-yard dumpsters from our franchise agreement as the city to them where they can put all the debris in the park. So they will be taking anything that's left on the site to the dumpster.
Yeah.
Any more questions? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to amend our recommendation approval of the Jamboree.
Just to approve the additional request
What she said.
Yeah, what she said, okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Hey, Councilor Norman seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, there, you got it. There, you're back.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
All sir. Did you have another
I did
participation?
do. And this is the last one.
Come on, just state your name. You don't have to state your address.
I apologize, I forgot that you guys moved to 6:30, so I thought you started at 7, like you did 1,000 years ago. So I came to you guys before, I believe it was in January or the first February meeting about my hillside in Louisiana and the erosion that's going. And at the time, I was told that the engineer would come out and meet with me. That didn't happen until April. And then it wasn't until May that they finally threw out a few handfuls of seed. That's all it looked like to me. And then it promptly didn't do anything. There is some grass growing down on the street at the bottom. I don't know if that was the seed the city threw out that just promptly washed down on the one rain that we got a couple of days later. But there's no grass other than a couple of volunteer spots that are growing on that hillside. There's some weeds growing on that hillside, but a few ferns. But basically, what the city did didn't do anything. And so my request would be that now the city has missed doing this last spring, last fall, and now this spring. So it's almost going into a year of not correcting the problem. I would ask that you guys put this on the agenda so that you could direct city staff to actually take care of it for real in the fall, so that I don't have to keep coming down here.
Okay. Okay, moving into new business, and we do have a Citizen of the Month discussion.
Guess that puts me on the floor, huh?
Yep.
So my question would be, I personally don't have anybody that I have selected that's come by second hand as far as somebody that would be considered. So my question is this something that could possibly be something more biannual, quarterly, annually, rather than once a month? Is that, I'm just throwing it out there. Is that something that, am I the only one that feels that, or?
I talked to Counselor Weller earlier today, and we agreed that it kind of feels like now it's run its course. It's been 5.5 years of doing it, that maybe it can be moved to a quarterly or annual thing, instead of more searching for, really looking hard for people that could potentially qualify, maybe let some people shine and then start recognizing them. That was my thought, our thought.
Thanks, you explained it well.
Yeah.
Well, my experience with it, and I actually started it. And you might think you'll run out of people to recognize, but it's not the case. Where different people are moving into the community, and there's always somebody you could recognize that goes above and beyond. And I just think it's not only a good tool, if you will, to tell somebody, thank you for what you're doing in our community and My work experience, and I've got a lot of it because I'm still employed, is that it means more to me from my employer to tell me that, hey, Rick, you've done a great job, appreciate it, than $1 an hour raise. And it builds motivation. And what's interesting is that when we started this, I was doing it for about a year by myself, picking people, and then Counselor Bruce McNair said, hey, how come we're not doing it, you know? And I said, yeah, that'd be great. Let's all take turns. And what that has done is that it kind of makes stakeholders out of our council and develops a stronger relationship with our constituents because they can look around the community and recognize not only myself, but each counselor can recognize. And I just think it's kind of a neat thing. And you might think, oh gosh, who am I going to pick? You know, and if you don't look at it as a chore, it's kind of a neat thing.
Well, maybe, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, maybe it's because I don't know all the characteristics that, being new to the county, I don't know all the characteristics that you're looking for in selecting somebody, and maybe getting educated on that would help.
You know, there's no protocols, I mean, because we started not selecting staff, and then, you know, and so in the last couple of years, we selected staff, and our city administrator's been selected, and different people. There's no rules.
We're usually selecting people that are taking a step outside of their normal job. So, I mean, when we did staff, it was honor things that they're doing above and beyond. But it's as simple as a person going and cleaning a sidewalk that everybody else hasn't cleaned for probably a decade. Right there.
Yeah.
That person that taken that a little bit of initiative, and if you had 100 of them people in this town, just think how it would shine. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a big thing that they're doing, but it's that they're doing something. That's kind of how I look at it.
Is it somebody that has to live in the city?
No.
Can it be somebody outside that?
Yeah.
Maybe does something for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, do you have a standards that you
No.
set? You don't?
We don't.
To determine the definition of what qualifies?
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's what, twice a year for each counselor?
Pretty much.
yeah.
And yeah,
Is there any form of, or a way that the everyday citizen can give input and make recommendations for that?
So,
Absolutely.
well,
right. Yes.
And that happens.
But I mean, how do you go about doing that?
Oh, they do it through social media sometimes, or come in and they'll talk to other council members and they'll give them, ideas.
So anybody in Vernonia could say, hey, this person is really doing a great job, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah.
I recommend so-and-so for Citizen of the Month.
And
And
they just email it to the city? Or how does that information get forwarded to you so they can make that
Yes.
recommendation?
To the council.
So typically.
On the website, all of their emails are next to their,
That's how we can go to.
yeah,
Yeah.
Vernonia website.
Go ahead, Susan.
I agree with you. Recognition is more important than a lot of things, although $1 an hour is, $2,080
It's just
a
an
year. That's a
example.
lot. I appreciate the fact that we do this. I hesitate when I have multiple people sending me emails to say, hey, I would like you to recognize this person because they've been doing this. And it becomes, I think it's incumbent upon us as council, if we're going to do this every month, that it be from things we are observing and we are recognizing and that we are seeing. And as far as the question of whether or not it should be somebody inside or outside of the city, it's citizen of the month. And I would think that the citizen of the month is a citizen of the city of Vernonia. But no, we don't have any guidelines, but I think that it's just something to think about also. And I do understand it can be a challenge. There are a lot of people who get overlooked. There's a lot of people who should be recognized who aren't for whatever reason, because it's a business or it's they're a counselor, they're a commissioner, whatever it is that they are, that don't get recognized for the work they do. And sometimes it is difficult to choose someone. And I don't know if maybe doing it every other month might make it a little easier. So we're only having to find, not having to, seeking out that person, making sure they're interested in participating in being awarded, because some are not. So it's just a thought.
Can I ask you a question? Do you mean the 97064 zip code is a citizen of Vernonia if they have a Vernonia address? Are you meaning, are you meaning in the city proper? Because there's a lot of citizens that live just outside but are still Vernonia addresses.
Like Rob.
Or Baker Point.
I don't want any
Right.
rules.
Right, I mean, or different places. Do you know what I'm saying? Are you
No.
saying 97064?
I believe that would be
Okay.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Because, is it somebody who's come here and done a lot of work? Because they're a business, they did great things and maybe they donated some stuff. But, I just want to make sure that we are recognizing our community members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not necessarily somebody who's done a lot for us and not necessarily truly for good sake, just being a good citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
I think once a month is good because we get more people on our list and reward more people. It can be a challenge. I know that, Dennis, because my first few times was a pretty good challenge.
Well, that's part of my question is like, I'd like to find somebody that I've seen, I've recognized, it's more personal. And that's kind of the angle I'm coming from.
Or just anybody that you see within the community that's doing a lot of stuff, volunteer work or helping a bunch of people.
Sure.
Those are the people we want to recognize to help make our community build more.
Mm-hmm.
People seeing that there's good people out there, so more people will work with each other, hopefully.
Yeah, if you have any problems, just ask somebody else.
And remember that they also all have had difficulty choosing people and have had to skip months, especially recently.
Yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
yeah. Okay.
You're still on the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would suggest, writing it down on a calendar or something and, asking Stephanie,
You don't remember, you have to ask me no matter what.
yeah. But it's recorded, so. Anyway, any business from the departments? Okay, ordinances and resolutions. Correspondence, city county dinner invite. This year it's in St. Helen. Elks Lodge. I will be out of town that evening, so I will not be attending.
I think it's by what day?
14th.
14th. So by next Monday, let her know.
I shall let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, city administrator report.
Okay, so we're still just waiting for DEQ. I don't know what's taking so long with them, but I don't control them. As you can see, Brown Construction completed the remaining ramps and secured the ones at Washington that could not be completed before they moved to Forest Grove. Additionally, they fenced their equipment and cabled the driveway approach to their rock and sand supply. And they're still aiming for September to come back. They may have a crew available in late August that might come back ahead of the September crew, but it won't be during Jamboree or before Jamboree. And I did talk to them. I don't know if you noticed a couple of days, a week ago, there was a whole bunch of rock out on the highway because they didn't secure their load. So they swept up what they could. But I said, you didn't do that when you were in town, and we expect that you won't be doing it when you're not in town. And so they came to clean it up. The senior exercise path, I showed you some pictures there. That's complete. And I did send a report and the pictures and a thank you to Roundhouse Foundation that gave us the $6,000 for the grant to purchase that equipment. And I hear that on the 6th, your exercise class is riding the shuttle down there to do their first loop practice around the exercise path. So that'll be good. The water intake, that's one of the projects that's in the budget. To do the design for a new water intake at the water plant, either upgrade ours or upgrade and a redundant second access, which there's just to the south of the old water plant, there's a deep hole there that doesn't get the push of the river. And so that might be, depending on the design and the funding availability to us, that might be something we'd want to build, is some redundancy for a second intake. Staff will be having a one-stop meeting. That's with all the state funding agencies and grantees, with myself, Angie, and the engineer. It's a virtual meeting that we're going to attend for an hour. You get an hour with all those people. You pitch your project and they tell you if their funding or grants can or work for your project or not. And then what financing should you need, some in financing, what that would look like should you go for it. So we'll be doing that August 4th. And just a little insight, we laid the exact amount per square foot of grass seed that was required to do a heavy cover. We didn't just throw a few handfuls up there. I'm sorry it didn't take, but I did that we would be seeding it in the fall again if it didn't take. So that's already on the books. I don't think we need to have a meeting about it, but I can keep you guys abreast of when we put that out so that you're in the know.
Question. Have you seen it, Josette? Has it?
I have. It has tons of natural vegetation growing on it. It does not have just grass. There's a lot of what already populates that area in what people would call weeds, but are natural vegetation that aren't dandelions. There's lots of the normal types of.
So it's not like we got some major slide.
No, and we didn't even cut into it. That is the slope that existed there. The very bottom of it got about 1.5 feet cut back on the bottom that became a sharp edge, but we didn't touch anything going up. So I think it's just because of the movement of dirt and stuff and the rain, it kind of lost its vegetative pattern, but we did not like cut into that slope at all. We cut down at the base of the footprint, and that's in the plans and it's in all the documentation and all the pictures that we have. So we'll make good on getting something to grow there, but we did put out bags and bags of seed, not just handfuls. Our upcoming meetings, we have one on the 21st. I'm finally going to take a week off to get my fence fixed, or the fire department's going to have a cow because they're like, what's happening with your fence that we can see? It's tipped over. But the post broke in the wind last winter. And so we're going to spend a week putting up a fence. So I'll be gone for that meeting. Then you have the city county dinner on the 22nd. You have paperwork there that Stephanie delivered to you for my evaluation on the 28th. And then Friday through the 1st through the 3rd is Friendship Jamboree. And then we have a council meeting on the 4th. Do you guys have any questions for me?
So I think on Brett's, they did go in and remove vegetation. I think they brushed it.
But not all the way up where they didn't go all the way up. And that's the difference, is that I think there was scarcity at the top anyway. We seeded all the way from the top down. And I hear what he's saying, that maybe the rain washed the majority of that seed down. But we don't have the kind of seed, we'd have to pay someone to come do the spray seed, which we could do, but it's not in any budget. So we bought the right amount of seed to seed it, and then went up there and started at the top and hand seeded it down, watered it in. So it did get like a full, what you would do with seeding grass, but it just didn't take. And I did notify him that we'd be redoing it in the fall if it doesn't take. So.
I don't know if we, what is that material, jute or something they put up?
Hydro seeding.
Well, no, there's a
That fabric type.
fabric.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it could be, that would hold the seed in place so it can take root.
Well,
Because it is very steep.
This wasn't a very good spring for seeding because it was so dry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the other kind of why I'd like it to go back to natural vegetation is because if it just grows grass and then that gets tall, then someone's going to be asking us to come cut it for fire danger. And I'd really like it to just naturally seed with what's there, but do a drive-by, see what you think. If you guys want me to put some sort of material in the fall in addition to the seed, we can do whatever council deems appropriate.
Is that our job?
No, it isn't. But if someone keeps complaining to you and what staff is doing is not acceptable, or you want more than that, then you could recommend that. It's just going to cost more than we have. And we don't really have a budget for seeding, but we did do a lot of seeds. So it's just nature's way, I guess.
Okay. Any other questions for?
I mean, I could spread lupin and I could do all the natural, beautiful things that will grow for fire danger. I'd be happy to go happily spread my lupin seeds there in the fall.
Oh, just dandy.
No, I mean, it would be beautiful if it took off like actual, what grows naturally, but might have to cold stratify them in my fridge first for 60 days so they take.
Okay. Thank you, Josette.
Yeah.
Okay, items from the mayor and councilors. I got a couple things. I'll be out of town. So will not be at the next council meeting. Council Webb will take over that duty, chairing that meeting. And the evaluation on the 28th. I won't be here either for that. Also, speaking of meetings, July 15th, which is next Wednesday, is our annual CET meeting. I plan on attending. It's a really, really good meeting. All the people in Columbia County will be there, and it's their annual meeting. It's from 3 to 5 p.m. and it's at the OMIC building in Scappoose. So I encourage all the council to make it if they can. So, Anyway, that's all I have. Anybody else?
Oh. From the topic from the floor tonight there, we have some concerned citizens. I'm assuming you'll be
Yeah,
talking with the sergeant and you got contact him.
yeah, get the backstory on what's happened there and
Yeah,
complaints that have come in.
maybe give us some feedback in the future here.
Sure.
What's going on with those two issues. Or up there and forth. The Louisiana petition.
Mhm.
We've talked before about,
Yeah,
I guess we probably, I think you alluded to it, you'd probably be bringing us something as far as what we think the costs are maybe involved in this, an estimate.
yeah, so I've priced out if we did the de-sugared beet juice, there is a smell. I did tell the neighbors all the downsides of it. There is a smell that it has, but it does do the job to control dust in that area. I did also talk to the neighbors, and I'm glad they put it in their petition, that some of them have waivers of remonstrance.
Yeah.
And the chip sealing project would probably require us doing a local improvement district, calling in those waivers and maybe using a little bit of the fee and lieu money to offset the cost of doing a chip seal there. They would have to participate if they have a waiver against their property in a local improvement district. And most of them were fine with that. So yeah, I've been talking to Fabienne and the neighbors about it and looking up different quotes from the companies, how you do apply it. It's very easy. It can get trucked in. We could do it on a tractor with a spraying mechanism ourselves. So you don't have to hire someone, but it's the trucking of that product in the big caged containers. And then it would really just do it for the end of this summer, right? And then we'd probably be looking into when we have chip sealers here in the fall, is that something you could get turned around quick enough or what? We don't want to oil it. The neighbors have oiled north of Mellinger, and that is not really something most of the neighbors are okay with. They want the dust down, but they're kind of like, ugh, pouring that just to, oil.
Brett Howard stuff?
That they've also done that for them. Yeah, the Mellinger. And Mellinger isn't really ours, it's the county's. So there's also an option that the county, when we talked about doing the full paving of Louisiana, when we went for the grant and didn't get it, the county wanted an ad alternate for their section. So there is the possibility that I could get county roads to contribute for the Mellinger section. And it could be like a joint project where they do the section of Mellinger and then we come down Louisiana. So it's all in the works and being talked about. It's just, Fabienne said she was going to go to the neighbors and they were going to come up with something, and this is what they came up with.
Yeah, and I was just kind of thinking forward because we'll be redoing our priority list here shortly and we're going to need that information to whether
Maybe,
we want to put that in
Yeah.
there and where it's going to fit.
yeah, money wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Susan?
Not that I expected to have the conversation out. But I will ask a question since it's already been brought up. So does it put the city at risk if it is a partially one-lane street and we do anything like chip seal or anything? Because if the road is not a standard road and you're improving it so that it's smoother and whatever, so people are using it more or using it however they use it.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure the city is protected. We are not.
I know they're saying it's a one-lane street. There's actually the widths for two lanes. It feels small. It goes from big to narrow, but there's still two travel lanes. But yeah, we would probably have to put up barricades that, when it necks down, you'd put something to notify traffic, hey, it's necking down, if we did do a chip seal project, or depending on, because the east side has a lot of slope where west side is almost fully built out to the right of way, right? There's gravel closer to those because that's where the development's happening. So it'd be that east side where you'd probably have to do some sort of traffic notification there with striping or something.
Thank you.
If I'll up our waiver remonstrance if we ask for a little bit to take care of this problem, and then later if we do the full street project, they're not gonna say, well, we already paid ours.
Well, it depends on how many you have and what their cost is, because it might, I'm had Ruben looking into that. Like, what is the threshold of calling it in? To call it in at all, is that it? Or do you call it in for a bigger project? And does that make sense? Like, is there a monetary value to it? It's weird because some of those waivers are from back in the 90s where the cost would have been very little for them to do it themselves. Some are the most recent ones we've had before the fee and lieu. So their costs would have been more akin to now costs. So we're working that out. If we did an improvement district and called in those ones on Louisiana, would that be their one and only or what? Yeah. So I've been working on this for a little while, trying to get all the answers.
One and only.
If it is our one and only, then maybe we go full width to their side and do the chip seal and the grading and the base, because the paving would be, then just be like anyone's paving, right? So, but it will be up to council to decide if they want to do that with all the information. But I'll get you all the information of what it will be.
Question, is the road, does it have a road base now?
Louisiana?
Yeah, is it? It is. So it could be chip sealed.
There's sections where it needs some fine on top because it's really the base. The newer section's way more the strata you want. The older section, there's areas where pit runs showing in the off edges where you'd need to really grade it and do some work there before you chip seal.
Compacting and.
Yeah. So it just depends. If you did a local improvement district and you just said, hey, chip seal's all you're going to get till this is fully built out and there's a lot more players in the game, and then maybe we asphalted at that point, then maybe you spend the time doing the base, building it all up and doing a great chip seal that'll last for a long time. If the underneath is good, the chip seal will last. And you could always also do a double batch, 2 lifts of chip seal, which the longevity is longer on that. So there's all these options. I think probably our best bet is to get something on it for the dust for the summer and then work into whether or not you guys are, because it's going to take some conviction of council to call in those waivers. And I did explain to every person that I talked to, you can find that on your title report and it's never been hidden from you. It's always been in your title report if the property owner ahead of you signed one. You're still on the hook for it, even if you didn't sign it personally. So there may be a few people that are upset about that, but that's how land use goes.
The other aspect up there is that's an actively being developed area, and to invest very much into a street might be counterproductive.
Yeah.
We can take care of the dust situation. And I mean, I think chip seal's quite a bit cheaper than asphalt. I would really hesitate putting any asphalt in there.
Right.
We get
Ahead of the build
out and guaranteed we're not cutting into it.
Yeah.
And a Traco over.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I had one more thing I forgot. I contacted Senator Merkley's office last week, talked to Gustavo. We are still in the running for a federal funding for State Avenue Restoration Project. Our application was submitted to the subcommittee of U.S. Congress. And so that's where it's at right now. We're still in the ballgame. We were denied, our state application from the state of Oregon was denied. They didn't have the funds for that. So best case scenario, we get the federal funding and that will enable us to do half of the state avenue. I believe it's about 4 blocks of a full build out. on that project. So we're still in the ball game. So we'll find out probably by the end of August, or maybe even within a couple weeks. So I don't have anything else. So I think we're ready for an action item summary then, Josette.
Okay, so I just have the 2 topics from the floor. I'm going to get with those neighbors and discuss and get the backstory of what's happened there before and how we can address those issues. And then work to figure out exactly what we can do up on Louisiana with Mr. Costley's bank. And then bring council probably the application costs for what we could do for this summer, applying that stuff ourselves or showing you what the different products are and why we think the one product's probably better than the others that are out there that aren't oil for keeping the dust down.
Okay, and everyone see the 4th of July fireworks in Vernonia? It was awesome.
All over my neighborhood. And I'm not kidding.
Eric DeWitt did a good job. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All during this meeting at 7:31, meeting adjourned.